Thank you. My name is Kenneth Shinazuka. I'm 17 years old, and I'm the inventor of SafeWander. Growing up in a family with 3 generations, I have witnessed firsthand the struggles of caring for my grandfather, an Alzheimer's patient who frequently wandered out of the bed at night and suffered fall injuries. My aunt, his primary caregiver, struggled to stay awake at night to keep an eye on him, and even then often failed to catch him leaving the bed. My family's struggles were just a snapshot of a much larger societal burden. There are over 5.4 million dementia patients in the United States. 60% of them wander and many fall. Falls are not limited to just dementia patients. In fact, 1 out of every 3 seniors is at risk of falling, and these 2 problems are costing the nation over $250 billion every single year. This motivated me to create SafeWander and found my own company, SensorX. The company is devoted to sensor technologies for patient safety and caregivers' well-being. SensorX is small but has significant in-house R&D and production capabilities. As a result of that, we were able to transform my 2 inventions into SafeWander products within the span of just 1 year. And our SafeWander button sensor was recently launched on our website, safewander.com, after successful beta tests. So now I want to show you how SafeWander works. SafeWander is a button that's attached securely onto any patient's clothing using our patented one-twist method. As soon as a patient rises out of the bed, the sensor detects a change in body angle and then sends an alert to a caregiver's mobile device, even before the patient's feet land on the floor. In addition, the sensor communicates with a gateway which enables caregivers to receive alerts no matter where they are. A lot of the customers who have bought our sensors are telling us they love our unique features and benefits, which set SafeWander apart from existing technologies. For example, SafeWander is one of the only sensors that alerts caregivers at their smartphones and doesn't frighten any patients. In addition, with SafeWander, you can monitor multiple patients using just 1 mobile device, and patient data that's stored on the SafeWander app has significant potential to improve care. In order to rapidly penetrate the market, we are currently starting 5 pilots across the nation to generate data to demonstrate important use cases, such as a reduction in the number of falls and a reduction in the response time to falls. We have strategically selected care organizations, some of which are ranked as the best care facilities in the United States. As we start mass production this summer, we plan on aggressively pursuing marketing, first focusing on dementia patients cared at home and in assisted living facilities. The bar graph demonstrates the types of dementia patients that we're going to be targeting. Here are a couple of milestones that we plan on achieving in the near future. So for example, we plan on moving towards a data as a service subscription model. Next year, we will be launching 2 new products, and by the end of that year, we will have positive cash flow. We're able to reach these ambitious milestones because of our highly capable team. We have lots of expertise in different areas, such as technology and also business, but we're all united around the common vision of tackling some of the biggest senior care challenges of our generation. We are currently seeking strategic partners, especially in the area of marketing and sales. Again, my name is Kenneth, and I'm excited to hear your questions.
So, my first question is, you said you're 17, you're at Harvard, I saw.
Yeah, I'm going to Harvard next year.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Might be the only one who got in. What the hell? Why are you doing this and not smoking?
What the hell? Great question. I think my personal relationship with my grandfather, who I mentioned, was afflicted with Alzheimer's and unfortunately died as a result of that disease, really motivated me to work on this problem and in particular be able to use technology to solve a lot of these problems that we have related to the aging population.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, we talked earlier about how caregiving is not age specific, and that's a great example of that. Questions from the crowd here?
I'll start. Fall detection is a really, really tough kind of math problem to solve. So,
absolutely.
Tremendous amount of false positives. That's why most products in the market that try to do it aren't well received. So what's your secret sauce on that? And also just since the notification's going to somebody else, you know, if you just kind of sit up in bed, does that trigger an alert? So just kind of give us a sense of how you are guardrailing things.
Yeah, great question. So SafeWander is not actually necessarily a fall detection device, but it's a fall prevention device. So it sends an alert to the caregiver's mobile device before the patient's feet even land on the floor. And the idea is that the caregiver can go to assist the patient and prevent the patient from falling in the first place. So the reason why SafeWander is unique in this space is because first, we're the only device that alerts to a caregiver's mobile device, so to a smartphone. And in addition to that, it's a wearable sensor, meaning that it's secured in a very secure manner onto the patient's clothing. And a lot of the existing devices for fall detection require the patients to press a button. Dementia patients obviously aren't capable of that. So this sensor sends an alert to a caregiver's smartphone, which means that the dementia patient doesn't have to press anything.
But you got a follow-up question because I see it in your face, so go with it.
So
go ahead.
how are you going to get there in time to catch them from falling?
There you go.
Yeah, that's a good question. A very good question. So in addition to reducing the number of falls, we also hope to reduce the response time to falls. So the problem is that a lot of patients, when you find them, they've already fallen down and they've been lying there on the floor for 2 hours. So hopefully with this, we can get the caregiver to the patient's room in like 30 seconds or a minute, even if that's not enough time to get the caregiver there in time. But nonetheless, we do think that if the caregiver is nearby, then they'll be able to prevent the falls from happening in the first place.
You need a thing that, like reaches out and grabs their legs and keeps them off the floor.
Exactly. Yes.
So does this mean, though, that your market is limited to situations where there's a caregiver constantly with that patient? Or can you market to a audience where they do have some independence?
Yeah, not necessarily limited to just patients with caregivers nearby. So sometimes you might be monitoring a patient from very far away, which is why our gateway enables caregivers to receive alerts no matter where they are. So sometimes you just want to know whether the patient is out of the bed in the first place.
So the device looked pretty small, and I'm just
Can we see
wondering.
it? Can we see it again?
Yeah, sure. This is it.
How I know personally I would lose it in like the first week, regardless of how it adheres to clothing. And I just wonder what your assumptions are and what the cost of the device is, assuming that you might have to replace it.
Yeah, great question. So the cost of the sensor is $249 per unit. And what we've noticed actually in a lot of the care facilities where we're testing our product is that while the sensor might have accidentally been misplaced into the laundry, which our sensor has survived in the past, few caregivers actually lost the sensor in the first place. So typically you would have the sensor attached onto the clothing the entire day, and if the patient changes to different clothing, then you just screw the sensor onto that other pair of clothing.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I was curious, does the device interfere with any other electronic, medical type device that the patient may be wearing? How does it interact with the mobile device, and what was the technology behind that?
Yeah, great question. So it doesn't interact with anything like a pacemaker, if I understand your question correctly. And the way that it communicates with the smartphone is through a Bluetooth Low Energy and Wi-Fi platform. So the sensor communicates by Bluetooth with a gateway or range extender that's plugged into an outlet right next to the patient's bed. And then the gateway sends an alert via Wi-Fi to the caregiver's smartphone.
It does turn on your blender. So.
Yes.
Great. Other questions?
Don't worry, nothing will suddenly turn on in your home.
Other questions, folks? No? All right, great. Thank you so much.
Great, thank you.
Good luck.